Okay, I already responded with my feminine side. I wrote a little nice letter trying to be nice, burned it. Done with that. Now it's time to respond with my masculine side. Main characters' names. Your name, Phil. We're gonna put your actual name in here. For the second person, I dislike her so much that I'm going to call her Bimbo. So, Phil and Bimbo, this is another message for you. I'm going to have a lot of cuts in here because I got to make sure I get all of the facts so that everyone can see how crazy these two people are. Okay, so first things first is, and at the end of 2023, I started dating my husband, my current husband. Yeah, my husband. I started dating him. And Bimbo was immediately pissed off. Bimbo immediately had an attitude about it, was not here for it. And then I was like talking to my husband and I'm like, what's the deal with her? And he's like, I don't know, but every time I'm dating someone, she gets weird and she has to ask like, are they prettier than me? And XYZ, all this other stupid stuff. And then he mentioned that she still had his last name, which immediately threw me because I said, oh, she's still in love with you. Immediately. This was week 6 or 7 of knowing him, and I knew right away that I was going to have issues with Bimbo. I knew Bimbo was going to cause drama, problems, and chaos and anarchy, and I was correct. And guess what? The end result, she's dragged everyone down with her. Everyone that she got involved in this witch hunt, she's dragged down with her, which is ironic because they're all witches. Okay, this is another thing. If you don't believe in witchcraft, sorcery, magic of any sort, get off this video because there's a lot of it and it's real. Okay, thank you. Next thing you know. So I'm keeping in contact with Phil because at that time he was still seeing my 2 children that he had been playing role of father for years. Okay, me and him dated for like 7-8 years. So these kids are like practically blood to him, right? So I'm trying to stay in contact with him. He makes it very clear that he just wants to hook up. And I said, I'm good. I don't want to hook up. I'm looking for something serious. It's the reason we broke up in the first place. I wanted marriage. He did not. He wanted a forever girlfriend. I did not want to be a forever girlfriend. That's the end of part 1. Okay, so after that, we it's very clear that he wants to just have sex and I don't. I'm good. I don't want that. You can get that from anyone. I'm looking for my forever person, which I found. Thank you, Bimbo. And so we stopped talking and everything's cool, fine, and dandy. And then Bimbo had a court case because her youngest son was going to school. So they needed to settle like child custody and child support. They needed to settle all of that. I got dragged in because yes, I have dirty laundry. Everybody freaking does. Difference is I was honest about mine from the beginning. So my issues, I made sure to tell my husband the minute we started dating. I told him immediately like all my dirty laundry so that it was all out in the air. So like this person coming to him and trying to in his ear about my character, Bimbo, you don't fucking know me, about my character was actually kind of hilarious because he knew the truth the whole time this person was trying to lie on me. And she just looks batshit crazy now because they live in a different... Did I mention that Bimbo lives in a different county? She don't even live in the same county as me. And this woman is so worried about my relationship because she's still in love with her ex-husband who wants nothing to do with her because she's a piece of shit. Okay? Now, like I was saying, so I'm already done with Phil. Me and him aren't talking anymore at this point, right? Bimbo decides that she's going to drag a whole coven into her beef with me, which by the way, I had no beef with this woman. I've only said 2 words to her at this point. I tried to bring her flowers to a soccer game where I was going to meet her for the first time. And she basically spat in my face and said some really shiesty stuff. So I just didn't want to deal with her because her bad energy is disgusting and she made me sick. So I wanted out. Okay. So yeah, Bimbo decided to lie to everyone and say that I am the reason why her and my husband broke up. I'm the reason. Mind you, when they broke up, I didn't even know him yet. So how can I be the reason for your breakup, right? So not only am I a cheater, I'm a gold digger, I find out I'm a prostitute. I find out that I sleep around for money, that I use men for money. Mind you, when I met my husband, I had my own job. When I met my husband, I was doing my own thing. When I met my husband, my ex, Phil, classic narc, he triangulated me so that I was stuck. I was stuck. And if you don't know what triangulation is, look it up. He triangulated me so that I was stuck, so that I would have to go back to him. All right, so yes, I was stuck, right? But I got a hand up because my husband, he helped me. He helped me get away from the narcissist that was in my life. Thank goodness. Thank freaking goodness for the rest of the story that you guys are about to hear, because it's insane. It's insane. You wouldn't believe it if you didn't hear it. Okay, and a lot of people still won't. But yes, so a whole coven is told a whole bunch of lies about me, including that I have an STD and I passed it to this person. She needed a reason to get everybody riled up. She needed an actual reason because she was already jealous of me at this point. Prettier than her, I'm black, she can't compare to me. The only thing she has to go off of hating me, besides the fact that she's jealous that I'm with the person she's still in love with, is my skin color. So that was like the next thing we leaned into. Let's use every black stereotype for Isabella. Okay, let's use every black stereotype we can come up with. And she went with it with her ugly little brain. She went with it. Bimbo went, she flew with it. I'm telling you, she flew with these lies, these injustices. The reason why I am coming onto the internet and bringing this to the internet is because this person blocked me on everything and then proceeded to make fake profile after fake profile after fake profile of AI, of all of this other stuff that I've done, supposedly, all these things that I supposedly said to her. She was having fights with herself. She was having fights with herself. Mind you, again, I've only said 2 words to this woman. She's that angry that I'm with her ex, that she decides that she's going to smear my name into the ground, decides to go to CPS, tries to get my kids taken away from me, tries to get her children to lie and say I sexually assaulted them, when we both know, Bimbo, that you and your friends are actually doing that nasty stuff, okay? SA, never on this end, Buki, okay? And all of the issues that I had in the past regarding children, yeah, ask Phil about that, because he had something to do with it. He did. Yeah, he really did. Because he's doing the same thing that you're doing to me. He did it to me already before. Why do you think I don't care that you're doing it? Why do you think I haven't given you any reaction? You're not the first narcissist I've ever dealt with. And you definitely won't be the last. Okay? The Holy Spirit has my back. And that's just the funniest part of all of it. You mad. Right. So the whole smear campaign is going. It's gone. I mean, like, the Holy Spirit was keeping me up on all of this, because even though she tried to block my third eye, God was still giving me dreams, still giving me visions, still giving me confirmations. I was still having waking moments, because yes, I am very psychic. It's real. That's how I was able to stay 20 steps ahead of this terrible person, Miss Bimbo, and her little Philip that she decided to get with. You wanted to make me jealous of being with him? He is ugly as fuck. I was never with him for how he looked on the outside, for one. And the inside, absolutely terrible. So not only is he ugly as fuck on the outside, but he's ugly as fuck on the inside. I was never with this man because I thought he was good looking or because I was actually interested in him. I was with him because I wanted to give him a chance to be a good person. And I never saw that person. That's why I left. Okay? So you getting with him, giving him an STD, and then trying to get him to give it to me. Do you guys see how psycho this person sounds? Are you seeing it yet? At this point, I have a coven on my ass that I have no idea about. They're doing rituals, death rituals and shit, trying to get me killed, trying to kill me. She's already talked to my ex, and they set it up so that there's a fake marriage certificate that says Isabella Reed on it, so that she can prove to the court that I'm married to this person that I'm not with. That didn't want marriage, by the way, which is ironic because he's pretending to be married to me even though he didn't want marriage. Okay. Then it gets even creepier because she pretends to be me. and collects money under my name. So not only are you a hater at this point, but you're an obsessed hater. You're a fucking stalker. You're creepy. I've seen you driving by the house. I've seen all of the shit you've done. I know you broke into the house, and I know you put something in my food, and I know you tried to poison me. This person deserves to be locked up for the rest of her freaking life. And so does Philip. Okay? Thank you. So, yeah, there's been hitmen coming to the house. There has been a price on my head. This person hated me so much, she really thought my husband was gonna leave me for her. You lost him the minute you cheated on him. No one wants to be with a person who cheats on people. No one wants that. No one wants to be with somebody who's such a gold digger. Yeah, you're the gold digger, not me. Who's such a gold digger that you left a perfectly stable marriage with a loyal man for money with an ugly fat ass weirdo, okay? That you're with, that you don't even like, okay? You were with him because of the money. That's the only reason you were with him. So who's the gold digger? Because when I met my husband, I had my own money. When you got with this man, you only used him for money. You're the one who was having sex for money. You're the one who was paying off officials to lie in court for you. You're the one who got your family to lie for you after telling them lies of things that I supposedly did when I didn't even know my husband at the time that I was supposed to have done all of these things. You're the one who turned your kids against him. You're the one who made up all of this shit. All of it. All of this stuff. It's insane. If you don't believe in witchcraft or anything like that, like I said, last chance to click off because it's about to get real freaky deaky. So, I got pregnant once with my husband. And it was very peculiar because we went to the doctor and there was literally nothing there. Nothing. That same thing happened twice. So I was like, I'm going to be quiet this time about the pregnancy. And I was intentionally quiet. I laid low. Every time my husband's kids came to visit, I just wasn't around because I didn't want anything to happen to my son. Because I was starting to get a vibe that little Miss Bimbo was a witch. At this point, I had suspected it, but I didn't realize the grand scheme of it until the baby incidents. Because I've never had an issue carrying a child before, except for with Phil, Guinevere. Yeah. The baby that you made me carry, knowing that you have a kidney disease that would make it so that any baby you have isn't gonna develop kidneys, and you knew that, and you let me carry your child for 22 weeks. Yeah, I love that for me. Anyways, so kept the pregnancy quiet, didn't tell anybody anything, and baby was fine. Kind of crazy, right? That was my confirmation that this person isn't not only evil, but extremely powerful. Just almost as powerful as me. She thinks I'm fucking stupid at this point. I know all of this, but I've been keeping quiet. I'm not saying anything. God's telling me not to react. I'm not reacting. I'm just doing my thing, right? I was like, why am I not getting any jobs? Why am I not having any luck? Because I had to quit CVS. It got weird. Why am I not getting any jobs? Why am I not having any luck? Why is everything falling apart for me? This person was doing poverty spells. She was doing money spells. She was doing anything she could to stop the growth of our connection. Meanwhile, she has no idea what God was actually using her for. She thinks that she was playing me, but I was playing her the whole time. When this person met me, she assumed I was slow. Bimbo assumed that I was as dumb as her. She assumed that I was ditzy, overly cheerful, too nice, and weak. When in reality, I'm like 10,000 times stronger than her, because the weakest person in the room is the one that gets up yelling, while the strongest person in the room is the one quietly observing the yelling person. She's the yeller. I'm the observer. So God literally used this person to shape me. Okay? Every single attack that she threw at me and my husband to break us up didn't work. It just brought us closer together. God was using her as the adversary
to help me level up. God was using Phil as the adversary to help me level up. These two thought that them sneaking around behind my back, that I wasn't going to know. God told me everything I needed to know. And he let some of the spell work hit me just a little bit, just to know, just to keep me very thankful, which it did, because some of it was terrible. But I don't trust any person that casts spells, that gets a coven to cast spell on children. You casted a spell on children. You casted a spell on my child. That is when all the gloves were off. The reason why she worked her hardest to prevent the pregnancies that I had was because she knew once my husband had another child, that her dangling her children like pawns in his face was going to cease. And it did. Because my husband was already leveling up. He was already a different man than the man she knew. I inspired him. She destroyed him. I built him back up from the rubble that he was. This woman was doing isolation spells on him, love spells, come to me spells, anything to keep him stuck. But guess what? It was never genuine. The connection that she had with my husband was built off magic. You cannot have a relationship that's solely built off magic. Nothing's organic. So once the spell work wears off and you can't witchy woo-ha him again, guess what? He's awake. And that's literally what happened. So once he woke up, I was able to show him exactly who this evil bimbo was, who she was, and the fact that she would go to any length to keep him as a slave, which is what she wanted. She wanted him to be a slave that waited for her for when she decided to return from being a slut. Let's be honest. From being a slut. From being the worst version of herself. And it's funny because all the things that she said about me, God told me that's literally her. She's the slut. She's the gold digger. She's the one sleeping around. She's the one popping pills. She's the one hooked on drugs. She's the one having sex with anything that moves and calls her pretty. Not me. Never was, never will be. So at this point, we're playing a game of cat and mouse, and she thinks she's the cat when in reality she's the mouse. I'm the cat. And I've been just slowly taking it all in. At this point, she has bogus lawsuits on me that she was trying to start. One of them for STDs, another one for supposedly touching her child, which I never did. Another one for, what was the last one for? Some sort of property thing going on. But like none of them were going through to me. Like I didn't get any of the paperwork because she committed mail fraud and had the people of the courthouse, she paid them off too to make sure my mail got destroyed. So I never received any of it. Made sure I called the post office. They didn't receive it either. So definitely was destroyed in the courthouse. So while all of that was going on and behind the scenes, she's trying to push through these bogus lawsuits and not getting anywhere because it was all built off lies. I was just getting weirded out because none of the stuff was working. And I think that's when she realized that it's not working. I'm going to have to step this up. Because that was when she found out that we got married. She was pissed. And I don't really freaking care. Because we were always going to get married. We're meant to be together. We are meant to be together. We're actually soulmates. And our relationship was organic. And you helped us make it stronger. So thank you, Philip and Bimbo. So, yeah, while all of this was going on, she realized it wasn't working. So she had to take it a step further. And it's just going to keep getting darker and darker. Now, all this time, not only was she casting spell work, but she was also paying practitioners to cast spell work on me. All of the spell work kept bouncing off me and bouncing back to them. They were all getting really, really sick. All of these spells that she was casting, she was getting sick from as well. But it just made her angrier, so she kept doing more and more things. Got to the point where she decided to offer me up to an entity. Offer me up. First off, the first thing she did was she wanted to get initiated into this secret society. So she has to do a number of things. One of the things that she wanted to do was to destroy me and prove herself worthy to be in this secret society. So the best way she knew to go about doing that, since none of the spell work was working, was to offer me up to a lower level entity. And now she's trying to block my throat chakra. Don't want me talking about this. I don't really care. I'm going to. So she was trying to offer me up to a lower level entity. The entity, it came to me and we basically had a conversation. My spiritual ranking in the spirit world is like 10,000 times her ranking. She's a baby soul. I am not. So me and this entity had a talk. Like, I literally had a talk with this demon, and it went back to her. And now it's stuck on her. And now it's draining her. And all of these deals that she made with the devil, she couldn't come through because she was supposed to give up a divine being, which is me. And she couldn't come through. So that means she's offering herself up. Now, her and her coven are freaking out because they offered me as a sacrifice and they couldn't come through. So now, all of the riches, all of the terrible things that they've done, all the evil ways they've made money are being exposed because the devil's taking all of it back. Yeah, devil said time up. Time is up. And it got crazy because before I had a talk with this entity that was sent to take my soul, there was another entity, and I literally kicked him back into the underworld. I kicked him so hard. And before that, came into the dream state. She started traveling to me, astral traveling to my husband, trying to get him into a spiritual marriage with her. And I kept preventing it. None of this stuff was working. None of it was working. She tried harming my child, tried killing me, tried all of these things, all these terrible, terrible things, because she wanted to control one man. All of these terrible things to control one man. It's crazy. And then it got to the point where, okay, so they were like, well, we're going to have somebody go and assassinate this person. They tried to send my ex. First, they tried to have him message me. The person, Phil, that I told you, I already don't like this dude. I don't like him at all. He's ugly on the inside. I realize he's ugly on the outside. I have no reason to stay around this person. So when he started trying to talk to me, I immediately showed my husband. We both laughed and blocked his ugly ass, right? So that plan fell through. Every plan that they tried to do to get me into a sedated state, to offer me up, to try to kidnap me, to try to hurt me, to try to poison me, to try to harm me. At this point, everybody's becoming obsessed with me. And they still are. At this point, they're still obsessed with me. They're just afraid to make any moves because they're being watched by the FBI. They are being watched for all of the terrible things they've done. All of the glamour magic and all of the other things they did to hide this from the authorities. Yeah, Satan's taking all that shit back because they couldn't come through. So now this person wanted so desperately to destroy me, ignored practitioners when they told her that she was going to lose if she came up against me, bragged to all of her friends and lied to them about how she could take me out. And now she's running with her tail tucked between her legs because she couldn't follow through. I am saying all of this to say one last thing. The Holy Spirit has a message for you, bimbo. You know what your name is. Do not try the death rituals anymore. If you try them again, it's not going to end well. It's going to be a permanent transition. I may not like you, but I've never hated you. Like I said, I may not like you, but I've never hated you. You're the one who's always hated me. And your kids deserve better than you, but it would break my heart if their mother passed away because of her hatred for somebody that she doesn't even know. For her hatred for someone that came along and treated the person she treated like shit, like an absolute king, to the point where he wants nothing more than me. That's not my problem. I'm just telling you, the Holy Spirit is telling me to let you know that you need to stop doing the rituals, because his wrath is going to rain down. You thought that God was fake. You thought that karma was fake. You thought that all of the things that you've done for years and never got caught with, you were just invincible. All of these officials that you were able to pay off, who knows how many times these death rituals have actually worked. You've gotten away with things your whole life. I'm the first person that has come up against you and made you lose. And I wasn't even fighting. I wasn't even fighting until now. Now I am, but not with you. I'm fighting for happiness. I'm fighting for love. I'm fighting for peace. I'm fighting for tranquility. I'm fighting your terrible intentions with transmutation. Every nasty evil eye, every death spell, everything you've done, I'm just going to keep alchemizing into love and light. It's just crazy because none of this had to happen. You could have just stayed married. You could have just kept your legs closed. You could have just not been tempted by Satan to take money. You could have just minded your own business. There's a number of things you could have done, and none of this would have happened. None of it. Now there's a whole bunch of people who were involved in something on false pretenses that are suffering because of you, because of your actions, because of the fact that you're so selfish that you were willing to take everybody else down with you, and you didn't give a shit who else was going. And Phil, you know you was wrong for that. You know you were wrong for making up all those lies about all the things that I supposedly am. And I think it was hilarious that you were so angry that you were lying about my character to the point where you had these people convinced that they would be able to destroy me. You know dang well, you were with me for a long time for a reason, because you know what I'm capable of. You know how smart I am. You used to tell me that I was genius level all the time. You used to fill my head with air. You used to say that even though I'm 9 years younger than you, I'm so much smarter than a lot of women your age. And you were so bitter because you thought that I was going to crash and burn, and I didn't. You were so bitter that you really paired up with someone you didn't even know. Like, really, you paired up with somebody you don't even know to come against someone you've known for years. You're going to believe a complete stranger over somebody you've known for years. Again, we ended this with you saying, I want to hook up. Let's just be hookup buddies. And me saying, I'm good. Block. In what way, context, or situation is that bad blood? Not getting it. That's fine. I don't really care. Either way, you guys are all going to jail now. And it's just sad because, like, you really put a lot of effort, money, and time into destroying yourselves. And I've been praying for you every single day that you guys would repent, that you would stop, that you would listen to God, that you would let it go. This weird witch hunt, these weird intentions, all of these lies. Like, God told me to be still, and I was. And he took care of it. And now you guys are done. And one last thing to Bimbo. You keep trying to blame everything on me. She's the reason why I'm not with my husband, and she broke up my marriage, and blah, blah, blah. All of those delusions, this is why you need to be locked in a mental institution. Because you really believe this shit. You really believe the lies that you have been reciting for years at this point. You believe them. And that is insane. That makes you look weird as fuck. Because everyone is starting to see that everything you said was a lie. All of the evidence you presented in court was fake. AI videos. The links that you went through. You literally were threatening yourself from other profiles. Like, do you see how any of this sounds? Calling yourself from fake numbers. Doing all of this stuff. Because you were angry when you went to a reader and they told you the truth about me. And the fact that I am William George's true love. That I'm his true love. And you're not. You're a fake. You're a phony. While you're in jail, you should probably go and get your name changed back as well, because you were only ever borrowing my name. You don't deserve to be a Weberding. You definitely aren't one. You definitely are not. Just because you gave birth to 3 legends doesn't mean you're one. And was it worth it? Was it worth it? Destroying everyone around you. Everyone around you. Thinking that you were really going to get me to fit your stereotypes so that I'd be thrown in jail. I've never been a stereotype, and I never will be one. All I am is one of God's children. So you can keep all your nasty, disgusting intentions and all of that nasty energy. And now I feel so much better because I just got out of my masculine energy. I pulled it out because I needed to. But yeah, Godspeed. And I'm going to keep praying for you, because where you're going, you're going to need it.